covered just 6 out of their last 19 games. Now, total-wise, Golden State's 4-2 to the over in their last 6 at home, taking on Detroit. Meanwhile, the Pistons are 13-6 to the over in their last 19. Give me the Pistons plus 12 and the over 216.5 in that matchup there. Next and final game for our NBA slate, it is going to be Kings, Lakers, 9:30 tip-off at the Staples Center in Los Angeles. The Kings open -3, total 229. We're seeing money toward the Kings and money toward the under right now, 3.5 and 228 in a hook. So once again, Sacramento open -3 up to -3.5. Total open 229 down to 228.5. Right now, the Lakers are plus 130 at home. The Lakers are just 3-14 straight up in their last 17 ball games. 0-5 against the number in their last 5. They're also 0-5 straight up in their last 5 on their home court, and they rank second to last in home offensive rebounding. Now, total-wise, the Lakers are 7-3 to the under in their last 10. Sacramento 7-3 to the under in that same category. Give me the Kings -3 after buying the half a point, and the under 228.5 in that matchup there. All right, let's go ahead and slide into some March Madness, and I'll tell you what. It is a miracle to go 8-8 in the leans yesterday. I'll tell you, March Madness this year has been absolutely a challenge to cap. And that's why I kind of said, if you're interested in subscribing to Patreon, I know, it's my page and I'm trying to, sell you on investing in me. But, man, it's been a bad time to invest in me right now because March Madness has been killer on the Patreon page. But like I said, definitely a miracle to go 50% yesterday in March Madness. That was like a small victory for me in my psyche. But anyway, let's go ahead and take a look at Iowa, Tennessee. That's going to be a 12:10 Eastern tip-off in the Nationwide Arena. Tennessee opened 8.5, total 157. And since those markets opened that one up, we're actually seeing a slight fade of Tennessee when it comes to the spread. They're down to -8. We're also seeing movement downward on the total as well. That total moved down to 155. So once again, the Volunteers open 8.5 down to -8. Total open 157 down to 155. 51% are leaning Tennessee, 55% shaded toward the under. Right now, Iowa is plus 300 on the money line. Now, Tennessee's winning. They're covering 83% of their games that tipped off at the current point spread. I'm not going to get too far into it. I like Tennessee -8 and the under 155 in that matchup there. Next game, Washington, UNC, 2:40 Eastern tip-off at the Nationwide Arena. UNC opened 12.5 total at 150. And since those markets opened this one up, we're actually seeing a steady and consistent fade of the Tar Heels when it comes to the spread. We're also seeing movement downward on the total as well. -11.5 and 148. So once again, North Carolina opened 12.5 down to -11.5. Total open 150 down to 148. 54% are leaning UNC, 58% shaded toward the over. Right now, the Huskies are plus 615 on the money line. Now, if you like Washington to cover in this matchup here, they are covering 63% of their games, taking on teams allowing more than 72 points per contest. Meanwhile, the Tar Heels on the other side, they rank 165th in points allowed. When it comes to the total, Washington is 60% to the under in their last 10. Give me the Huskies plus 12 after buying the hook, and the under 148 in that matchup there. Next game, UCF, Duke, 5:15 Colonial Life Arena. Duke opened the betting as the 14.5 point favorite, total at 147, and a lot of movement on this one. 1.5 point fade of Duke on the spread. That is a multiple point fade of the over. We're actually seeing money on the under down to 143.5. So once again, Duke open 14.5 down to -13. Total open 147 down to 143 and a hook. 57% are leaning Duke, 51% shaded toward the under. Right now, the Knights of UCF are plus 760 on the money line. Now, if you like Central Florida in this matchup here, they are 10-5 against the spread away from home this year. They're also 11-4 ATS, taking on teams over 650. Now, when it comes to the total, Duke is just 9-26 to the over overall this year. So give me UCF plus 13 and the under 143.5 in that matchup there. Next game, Buffalo, Texas Tech, 6:10 tip-off. Texas Tech opened 4.5, total 144 and a hook. And since those markets opened this one up, we're seeing a steady and consistent fade of Texas Tech in the early going here. We're also seeing movement toward the over. We're looking at -3.5 and 146. So once again, the Raiders open 4.5 down to -3.5. Total open 144.5 up to 146 even. 56% are leaning Buffalo. 59% shaded toward the over. Right now, the Bulls are +155 on the money line. Now, if you like the Bulls in this matchup here, they've been scoring a lot of points. Certainly not inept when it comes to the offensive side of things. But just keep in mind, they're taking on a Texas Tech team who's 9-1 straight up in their last 10, 8-2 against the number in that same category. They rank 3rd in the nation in points allowed and 2nd in defensive field goal percentage. Now, total-wise, Buffalo 6-3 to the under in their last 9. I'm going to lean Texas Tech -3 after buying the half a point and the under 146 in that matchup there. Next game, Liberty, Virginia Tech, 7:10 SAP Center. The Hokies open 6.5, total 125.5, and hopefully you got on Virginia Tech early because we're seeing a 2-point move towards Virginia Tech. That spread moved up to 8.5. Total moved down to 124 and a hook. So once again, the Hokies open 6.5 up to -8.5. Total open 125 and a hook down to 124 and a hook. 53% are leaning Virginia Tech, 66% shaded toward the over. Right now, the Flames are +355 on the money line. Now, if you like Liberty as a dark horse, it's going to be tough for you. Virginia Tech, 8-3 against the spread as the official road favorite. They're also covering 89% of their games at the current number. Now, Liberty's just 7-15 to the over, taking on teams averaging more than 72 points per contest. Give me Virginia Tech -8 and the under 124.5 in that matchup there. Next game, OU, UVA, 7:45 Colonial. Virginia open 11.5, total 125. And since those markets opened this one up, we're seeing movement downward on the spread and upward on the total. -11, 126.5. So once again, UVA opened 11.5 down to -11. Total open 125 up to 126.5. 51% are leaning Virginia, 67% shaded toward the over. Right now, Oklahoma's +500 on the money line. Now, Oklahoma, unbelievable against the number this year. 23-10 ATS overall for the year. 14-5 ATS away from home. When it comes to the total, UVA 5-4 to the over in their last 9. Give me the Sooners +11 and the over 126.5 in that matchup there. Next game, Ohio State, Houston, 8:40 Box Center. Houston open -5, total 130. We're seeing movement upward on the spread and upward on the total. -6 and 132.5. Once again, the Cougars open -5 up to -6. Total open 130 up to 132.5. 58% are leaning Houston, 55% shaded toward the over. Right now, the Buckeyes are +220 on the money line. Ohio State's covering 37% of their games, taking on teams over 650. They're also covering just 30% of their games, taking on teams allowing less than 67 points per contest. Now, when it comes to the total, Ohio State is just, when it comes to the total, Ohio State is 70% to the over, taking on teams scoring more than 72 points per contest. Give me Houston -6 and the over 132.5 in that matchup there. All right, next and final game for the show, it is going to be UC Irvine. I think that's the Anteaters. UC Irvine taking on Oregon, 9:40 tip-off in that matchup there. The Ducks open 4.5, total 126. And since those markets opened this one up, we're seeing movement upward on the spread and downward on the total. -5 and 124. So once again, Oregon open 4.5 up to -5. Total open 126 down to 124. 51% are leaning Oregon, 70% shaded toward the over. Right now, UC Irvine is +200 on the money line. Now, if you like the dog in this matchup here, it's going to be a tough one for you. Oregon's 9-0 against the spread in their last 9. They also rank 13th in points allowed. Meanwhile, when it comes to the scoring, Oregon, two out of their last 3 got over the total. UC Irvine, 5-1 to the over in their last 6. Give me the Ducks -5. And the over 124 in that matchup there. All right, folks, that is going to do it for me. Before I get out of here, I just want to wish you good luck in all your plays and wagering today. I also want to remind you to check me out at patreon.com/BrockPage. And as always, thank you so much for tuning in to today's program. I really hope you enjoyed all this great free information. Hopefully you win a lot of games today. And as always, don't forget to check me out at patreon.com/BrockPage.